Hey guys, it's Sam with 2M's and welcome to this MYXclusive interview. Happy Wednesday hump day, everyone. It is the middle of the week, so I'm sending you all the good vibes that you need for today, but also to get all of us to the weekend. And I'm so excited to be here with all of you because in just a bit, I'll be having a very special guest or very special guests who will be joining me. They are a synth pop duo, and it's so interesting because they have been making music together. But super fun fact about them, you guys, they've actually never met in real life. So the beauty of the internet, isn't it so beautiful? And actually, I've also never met them in real life. I'm going to be meeting them through the internet as well, and we'll be talking about how they got started and also their music, of course. So everyone, please welcome to MYXclusive Extra Extra. Woo!
Hey, what's
Hello.
up? What's up, everybody?
Sup.
Good morning.
Hello. Good morning,
Good morning
to
to
you
you all.
guys. Thank you for joining us. But can I have you guys introduce yourselves to everyone who is watching right now?
Hello, my name's Robbie.
And I'm Joseph Gregory.
Yes, and they are
And we're
extra
extra.
I love it. But thank you so much for joining us, you guys, on this beautiful Wednesday. How have you guys been? How's life been for you guys recently?
Pretty good.
I mean, pretty good. We're just sailing, just going with the flow of things these days.
Going with the vibe.
Yeah.
I love that. Can I just say, Joseph, you have a very soothing voice. Although I've only heard like a few words. It's very like, this is really a
thank you.
very soothing
Thank you.
voice. Yeah, you have a really
it's
soothing
morning,
voice.
so
Uh-huh.
it's part of it.
For an
Yeah,
audiobook.
that's true. Yeah, that's true. Pwede pang sleep story. Wow,
Yes.
sleep story. You know those, right? That you
Yeah.
can use your voice for sleep story if you wanna, dabble into
Mm-hmm.
other stuff as well. But that's so true. Same naman with me. I've also been kind of going with the vibe, seeing where life takes us, especially nowadays, especially here, no, in the Philippines. But I'm sure you guys have been doing a lot of music too. But aside from that, what do you guys do? Like in your free time, because you know how now especially we've all kind of dabbled into new things that we never
Yeah.
thought we would be able to do, but now we're able to. So what have you guys been up to aside from music, of course?
So one thing that I got into this pandemic is skateboarding.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I've been learning how to
Really?
skateboard and just trying to focus myself really on just one skill that will just get the day going. Discipline and just focus.
No, yeah, that's cool. What made you want to like learn skateboarding? I mean, a lot of people also now know they started skateboarding also during this time,
Yeah.
or biking also. So you, Robbie, like what made you want to start skateboarding?
Well, the influence of my friends, because all of them have been skateboarding, and I
Yeah.
was like, damn, why don't I try? Because it looks really fun,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it made me actually enjoy being active, because I'm not really a very like sports driven person. But then once I got into skateboarding, made me want to just get up and be active.
Wow, I love it. Fitness also is part of it. I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
Skateboarding, it's really tiring. It's like a lot of cardio too. So nice one. I love that. I hope I get to pick up skateboarding too. But how about you, Joseph? Was there anything new, or like what else have you been up to these days?
Probably the opposite. I don't stay active at all. I have been cooking a lot. So
Ooh.
yeah, so a lot of really weird recipes that I try out
Oh,
because
really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really really nice. That's sort of my zen.
Mm-hmm.
Meditation is cool as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's
That's
where the voice comes from.
I love it. Meditation. I mean, props to you. I also like try to meditate, but sometimes talaga, it's really hard to slow down. So meditating is really, really important. But I also love that you said cooking and you said weird recipes. So why weird? Like what are the things that you cook
Oh,
at home?
you know, I'm actually really proud of my risotto. So
Oh,
yeah, yeah, it's pretty
yeah.
cool. I actually haven't made a bad risotto in my entire life. So that's like
That is
hopefully.
so. I love that. No, that is so strange because just this morning, I'm like not joking. I was thinking of, I wonder if it's easy to make risotto. Like literally just this morning,
Ooh.
I was thinking about it, and you just talking about it right now. And I know it's pretty hard to make
It's
risotto.
I
And
mean it's not
no,
that hard for as long as you
mm-hmm,
cook the
mm-hmm.
rice right, and then we're
Yeah, yeah,
Filipino, so we're
yeah.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like yeah, it's not too hard. Usually I
Mm-hmm.
think the hard part is the stirring. It's just kind of long, but like
Yeah.
you just kind of have to take time to
Mm-hmm.
um do the recipe right. But yeah, it's not
Yeah.
that hard. It's not as hard as people say it is.
Okay, now I'm inspired because I was really thinking about it this morning. I really
I think
wanted to
it's a sign.
learn. Yes, I think it's a sign. The universe is really telling me, Sam, you can do it. So
Yeah.
I love that you're able to make risotto, cooking and all of that. You guys are, being able to try out new things also during this time is, really cool because all of us naman, we've all kind of had to find other ways then to keep ourselves sane and like
Yeah.
happy throughout this time. But I'm sure music is also one of those things that has really helped you guys then during this time. And kanina nga sa aking intro, sabi ko that you guys have never met in person, like ever, which I mean, all of us, naman, we've never met in person also. So
Yeah.
that's totally normal nowadays. But I'm curious, like, how did Extra Extra come to be? If you guys never met in real life.
So it started from me. How I used
Mm-hmm.
to write songs before is that I'd look
Mm-hmm.
up beats that I'd vibe to on YouTube, and I'd write to
Yeah.
those beats.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I noticed is that those beats, anyone could just use them. Anyone could like put their own spin
Mm-hmm.
on it, so it didn't really
Yeah.
feel that special anymore. So I reached out to one of my friends, Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Jack if you're listening.
Shout out.
And I asked him to link me with a producer, and
Mm-hmm.
he linked me with Joseph. And
Oh.
after the first demo, I sent him. He really liked it, and
Mm-hmm.
it just really stemmed off from there. After one song, we made the second song and the third and the fourth, and it's like the
Wow.
vibes were just right, and he just knows. He just
Mm-hmm.
gets what I'm trying to say with my song. So I guess that's why,
Mm-hmm.
even though we haven't met in real life,
Mm-hmm.
he just we just know what to do with our music.
Yeah, that's so true. And then like
Mm-hmm.
especially like it wasn't hard for us to like
Mm-hmm.
sync musically. Like our sometimes
Yeah.
we work like our brain musically, like it just works at the same time. It's like I
Wow.
kind of know, like when he writes
Yeah.
about something, I kind of know what it's supposed to sound like. And sometimes I send him
Mm-hmm.
beats and he's like, oh, I know what to write on top of this. And sort of like the vibes kind of just aligned. So it was quite
Mm-hmm.
serendipitous, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you think about it that way.
Kind of like one brain already.
That is so wild and that's so cool also at the
Yeah.
same time because that's very rare, you know what I mean, being able to
Yep.
kind of sync with someone that isn't like your like how do I explain, kind of like a friend that you've met
Mm-hmm.
before, like you know how when you have like old friends all of your brains kind of sync together, but for the two of you to kind of link up online and kind of share the same kind of like musical brain, I think is so cool. I'm kind of jealous that you guys are able to, create new friends also during this time is so difficult. So, I mean, it's so cool that you guys were able to find that kind of chemistry also, even though you've never met online. But I am curious in terms of music. You said that you guys kind of really match, no, in terms of the music and how you guys create stuff. So, like, how would you describe how your music maybe your music taste or maybe the kind of music that you guys want to make really mesh together? Like, were there similar influences or similar things that you guys wanted to do right off the bat when you first talked or first linked up?
I guess what's great about Extra Extra is
Mm-hmm.
that we just really take elements from every genre we could possibly think of. If the genre exists in the world, we're gonna take elements from that and combine it with another genre to
Mm-hmm.
make it our own, I guess. And I guess that's
Mm-hmm.
why um our style of making music works. And when in the creative process with me and Joseph, we really don't
Mm-hmm.
have that much back and forth. Like
Oh.
once I send him my vocals and the melody of how I want the
Mm-hmm.
lyrics to sound like, he sends me back another demo, and I don't really have any more notes for it. He just gets really
Mm-hmm.
what
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to
I
say
guess it's
with my lyrics.
yeah, it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like an emulation of that thing wherein like you both just go into the studio,
Mm-hmm.
and then like you kind of read each other's signals, and then it's kind of just like,
Wow.
okay, yeah, uh
Mm-hmm.
I kind of know what you're trying to say. There was
Mm-hmm.
actually a story about Ringo Starr when he first went into the drums with the
Mm-hmm.
Beatles, because he
Mm-hmm.
was Paul's friend, but I don't think he knew
Yeah.
John and George. And
Mm-hmm.
then like he barely just talked to them,
I
he just
love
went at the
Ringo.
back of the drums. Yeah, Ringo
Yeah.
is underrated,
The best.
but
Yeah.
the best. And then yeah, so like he went into the drums, and then everyone just kind of knew like, yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
he's the one, and
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like that with me and Robbie. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
just there's not much back and forth, it's just musical back and forth, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Like when you know, you know. Like that's it.
Yeah,
Like that's what it is. And I love that whole Ringo thing. I totally get what you mean. By the way, super underrated also. But yeah, I totally get what you mean. Like you kind of just matched right away, which I think, like I said, very rare, but so cool that you guys were able to find, especially during this time. No, it's so weird that it had to happen during this time, but everything in its own timing and all of that. But of course, you already, like you guys said, when it comes to music, you kind of just, whatever you guys want to do, you kind of just are able to do and express through the music. But I'm also really curious about your guys' name, like Extra Extra. So how did you settle on Extra Extra, or like what made you guys want to name the two of you Extra Extra?
all right. So it was actually a funny story because our first
Mhm.
name was actually supposed to be Danger Danger, because we were in a
Oh,
pandemic.
cute.
Everything's, yeah. But once we did a bit
Mhm.
of research, we found out that um a band from the 80s already had that name. So Joseph
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
were in like a frenzy
Mhm.
mode because we really love
Mhm.
that name already.
We really
And
love that
so
name.
Mhm.
I gave him a couple names, and then he didn't really like it, and then he gave me a couple names.
Mhm.
I wasn't really feeling it. But then like
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
one time during this brainstorming process, I clicked on my YouTube homepage, and then I saw this
Mhm.
soundtrack for a movie called XTRO. And then I told
Mhm.
Joseph, why don't we just name ourselves, just very casually, why don't we just name ourselves Extra Extra? And he was like, oh
That was
yeah,
like a big
oh
moment.
yeah, yeah, a big moment of realization. And even
Mhm.
our friends got it because that's how their music, how our music sounds to them. It's very extra
Mhm.
extra. So yeah, that's how we got the name.
I love it. Dali ka usap. Joke lang. No, but I mean, that's cool. I love that. I think now that you guys mentioned it, it does kind of reflect the kind of music that you guys make, like Extra Extra. I love that you
Hmm.
guys went with Extra Extra, not Danger Danger, because people might think you're like that 80s glam rock band. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're a
Yes, yeah.
glam rock
Yes,
band.
yeah.
Yeah, right? So, yeah. So I love that you guys went for Extra Extra. It's also, very out there. It's like, Extra Extra. So, I love that you guys were able to come up with that name for your duo too. And I am really curious, especially now, no. Like what is, you guys said there's a lot of, not so much back and forth, but a lot of musical back and forth, right? But in terms of like having to create music, what is it like for you guys, especially because it's, you haven't met in person and all of that? Like, is it a lot of like file sending? Is that what it's like? A lot of
Yeah.
messages? So what's the
Hmm.
process like for you guys?
So the process usually starts with me. I have the
Mhm.
lyrics and the vocal melody. and just really just basic instruments, maybe like some piano there and some percussions. And then after that, I send it to Joseph, and he just does something. I don't know what he does in his room over there. He adds his little. He had some kind of magic. I don't know. I don't know, Joseph. I mean, he might be an AI for all I know. But then,
That would be so
yeah,
funny.
That's
yeah.
actually a running joke.
Joseph wasn't
Like,
real. Some
Oh my
tricks
god.
or something.
Yeah, that is so
But yeah,
funny.
after that,
Actually,
Joseph
yeah.
just
hmm
yeah.
Go ahead,
And then
Bobby.
and then he
sometimes
Oh.
sends it
Robbie
back
comes in
over
with
to
like,
me, and
hmm
yeah, he like sometimes
hmm
comes up with something cool as well. And then
hmm
it's gotten to a point where we sort of intertwine already, where usually
hmm
Robbie's like the main songwriter, and
hmm
usually like he comes up with these things that just get my mind rolling. But then these days, like he sends me also like other snippets of like production and stuff and just like beats,
hmm
and I'm like, oh, I want to keep that. That's nice, And
hmm
then same thing with me. Like Robbie gets me to write. Like I haven't, I'm not usually writing with other artists, but somehow like his process of just writing music is very welcoming to like just adding stuff and building on stuff, and we create these monsters that are crazy.
Oh, I love that. I love that, you guys, I feel like you have a lot of artistic and creative freedom when it comes to your music. You just kind of send each other files and then you kind of bounce off of all of that. And that's so cool. Being able to do that,
yeah,
especially during this time, is just amazing. And I do want to ask you guys, especially because you're a duo who's very like creative. I can sense from talking to you guys. How would you two describe the kind of music that you make? Because for me, when I was listening to your songs, it felt very modern and kind of futuristic, but also very nostalgic at the same time, which are two very opposing, things,
yes, I
obviously.
was about to say.
But for you guys, how would you describe the kind of music that you guys make?
Exactly, really like what you said. So we have some influences from, let's say the 1980s or like
Mhm.
the 2000s. We try to make it into, instead of the 1980s, we make it to the 2080s, or from the 2000s to the 3000s. We
I
put our
love
own
it.
like little spin
Mhm,
just to make sure that
mhm.
it doesn't sound like it's an old song, but it also doesn't sound like it's something different, something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
true.
it's also this like
Mhm,
waterbed of like anything you want it to be. Like there's always that sort of basis. Like we always end up
uh-huh,
there in that whole like 80s like
mhm,
hyper electronic but also
mhm,
nostalgic. But then at the same time, they're always like these bits and pieces of like this and that, because Robbie and I have
mhm,
um very eclectic music tastes,
mhm,
which
mhm,
we don't even try to uh put it into and consolidate into one like thing. Like it always just kind of comes out naturally.
mhm, mhm. I love that, and I can also hear like your '80s influence. Also, I mean, I didn't grow up in the '80s, but I listened to a lot of '80s
same.
until now when I
Same.
was growing up. But also now I listen to a lot of '80s. One of the best times for music, and obviously, like a lot of people, I mean, feel the same way. We love to get nostalgic, but also I love that you guys are able to put your own spin on the music, and I think I really saw that in Remember the Nights also because it kind of also really felt like the stuff I was growing up with when I was younger, like in the 2000s, kind of the start. Felt very that era, but then it just kind of evolved for me when I was listening to it, which I think is really cool with music. So let's talk more about Remember the Night. So could you tell us more
Right.
about what the song is about and how you guys started off with, the idea for Remember the Nights?
So for Remembering the Nights, we just wanted to really look back at the fun times we had with friends in
Mm-hmm,
the
mm-hmm,
before the pandemic happened. So I looked back at the memories I had, just late nights with friends, just hanging out, and we didn't really care about, the time. We just really cared
mm-hmm,
about the time spent with them.
mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so true. I feel like that's all of us now. It's just, trying to remember all those nights. Yeah. But what was it like
Yeah.
working on the song and creating it together?
So I started off. I got my guitar, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how I started it off. I just chords, and then really how I start to write a song is I just mumble. I mumble a melody, and then at the
Mm-hmm.
same time I'm trying to put already words into my mumble.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
when I look back at the recordings, I can almost
Mm-hmm.
make a somewhat of a I can like, oh, this mumbled word sounds like this word, and then that's how
Mm-hmm.
it would go. And then after
Yeah.
I made um the verse and the chorus, I sent it over to Joseph, and then he
Mm-hmm.
And I
sent it
loved it.
over back to me. But
Mm-hmm.
to my surprise, he added a
Yeah.
very special part in the song, which was a solo. So the first time I listened to it, oh,
Mm-hmm.
cool, what a cool solo. But one thing that I didn't know was that it was actually Joseph's voice. It was an
Yeah.
auto-tuned
Yeah.
solo. So I thought it was an instrument, but it was actually his voice, which
No
was really, really
way.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
It's amazing
What?
what technology can do.
Wait, okay. So how okay. Wow. Like I'm shocked. I had no idea also. Like also now I'm just finding out now. So what was that like Joseph creating that part? How did you do it? That's so cool. I thought that was so cool.
Oh, okay. So, essentially, what I did was I just went
Mhm.
on my voice, and then I like
Mhm.
abused the hell out of the auto tune, and I just turned it
Wow.
up to 100, and then I put
Yeah.
like guitar distortion on my voice, and then that was essentially it. And the thing about it is, like, when you listen to the song, it's like I'm not trying to be clever with it. It's just kind of like you're in that vibe. We're in like, oh, I don't care what that is. It's just good, you know. And that's kind of how
Wow.
we write too. It's like we don't even
Mhm.
ask about like styles or anything like that. Like when I got it from Robbie, and
Mhm.
he said, "Remember the nights."
Mhm.
Both of us have that sort of concession. We're like, okay, so what do nights sound like? What
Mhm.
does remembering nights sound like? And you know the train keeps rolling, and then that comes out
Mhm.
essentially.
Mhm.
I don't know where the link is between the solo and the and the nights, but
Mhm.
for some reason, it works.
No, I loved it. I love the solo, and that's so wild that that was your voice. I thought you'd use like a vocoder or something, but like just
Yeah,
the
that's the
auto
voice.
tune and all of that. Wow, that's so cool. So it's so good. So everyone watching, if you haven't listened to "Remember in the Nights" by Extra Extra, definitely do so. It's available on multiple digital streaming platforms. And I can also just say in the chorus, there's like a super catchy like guitar riff that I'm obsessed with, like that
Oh yeah,
I don't know how to sing it, but it's so good. It's so good. Like I'm really
it's
obsessed with that
it's that
part.
thing
Yeah.
over there.
Oh my god, no way.
Yeah,
I love it. I'm such a fan. Like that riff was so good and it has been stuck in my head ever since I started listening to it. So everyone tuning in right now, make sure to check it out because it's also really like how do it's very catchy. There you go. I was gonna say infectious, but I don't think that's the right term right now during this time. So, catchy, I think, would be a more proper adjective. So, guys, make
proper.
sure to check it out. It's so good. Once again, it's called Remember the Nights. It's available on multiple digital streaming platforms, and you guys can check that out. But I also do want to talk about the cover art, and a lot of your art actually is so futuristic and so like cool. So wow. So what is it like conceptualizing like your cover art and like is who makes the cover arts and all that?
So actually, I think that the person that made the
Mhm.
cover art is already also part of that big brain that Joseph and I have,
That's true.
Mhm,
because
mhm,
she just
mhm,
gets what we're trying to make. So shout out to Reika,
mhm.
Aya Reika, if she's listening. Um,
Yay. Mhm,
really, hands down,
Hands
we
down.
couldn't
mhm,
ask for a better cover artist to make our art and visuals. So what would
mhm.
the process for that would be like we really just send her the song and she just send back a
Mhm.
cover art and
Oh
that's it.
wait, no way.
there's no
Yeah.
there's no really that much back and forth because
Mhm.
um she just gets what we're trying to make.
It's
Yeah.
so cool. Like it's so futuristic. I don't think I've seen that kind of like cover art a
Yeah.
lot, which I think is really cool. So you guys also check out the cover art. It's also super cool. it just makes you feel so futuristic and all of that. So make sure to check that out as well. And also make sure to check out the visualizer of Remember the Nights. It's available on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. So guys, make sure
Yep.
to check that out as well. But after this, obviously, we're so excited for everything that you guys have planned in terms of your music. So what else can we expect coming from you guys? I'm sure you have so many goals and so many things that you guys have planned. So
Yes.
what else can we expect coming from Extra Extra?
So next week we have our first mix of our songs, of some of the influences that Joseph and I have. We're putting that out on Manila Community Radio, so stay tuned for that next week. And after that, sometime this year, Joseph and I are releasing a collection of things, a collection of songs. So you guys better stay tuned for that.
Ooh, that sounds so exciting, you guys. So they're going to be releasing a mix, but also a collection of songs later on, very, very soon. So we have
Very,
that to
very
look forward to. So that's so exciting. Where can everyone follow you so that they can keep updated on all of your music and all of your goals and plans for, music?
So you can follow us on Instagram at extraextra.wave. It's .wav. And on Facebook, if you guys are on Facebook, Extra Extra Duo, DUO. And you can follow our personal Instagrams also. I'm at Batman and Robbie, ROBBIE. And Joseph?
Underscore Joseph Gregory on Instagram. So with the underscore at the start. And then just my name.
Yeah.
There you go. So, guys, make sure to follow them on their official social media pages so that you guys can keep updated on everything that they have going on with their music, because they have so many exciting things in store for all of us. But for now, also make sure to listen to their music that they have right now, but also their latest single, Remember the Nights. Once again, it's available on multiple digital streaming platforms. And you guys can also check out its visualizer. It's available on YouTube. But before I let you guys go, Robbie and Joseph, do you have a message to everyone who's been listening to your music, streaming your music, and supporting you guys and your music?
Well, the message that we have for everyone is that we just like to thank for support. Still so much more, and we're really excited for you guys to hear the music that we have in store, and that just I know this time of the pandemic, it may be hard for us, but don't separate a bad day from a good life. So just hang in there. We're on this together.
Yes, I love that. I felt that. Don't separate a bad day from a good life. I'm gonna write that down in my journal later, so I remember that. So thank you so much, Robbie and Joseph, for joining us today on MYXclusive, and thank you as well to everyone who tuned into this MYXclusive interview with Extra Extra. Once again, don't forget to stream all of their music. It's available on multiple digital streaming platforms. But once again, thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me today. Yay!
Thank you for having us.
Of course. And thank you as well to everyone who tuned in. Once again, this has been Sam with 2 M's and Extra Extra. Thanks, you guys.